Let's get real for a moment. Have you ever noticed how some people just love testing your boundaries? They interrupt you. They make passive-aggressive comments. They act as if your time, your feelings, or even your existence don't matter. And what are we told to do? Stay polite. Let it go. Be the bigger person. But what if I told you? Those people aren't afraid of your anger. They aren't afraid of your arguments. They only fear one thing: your calm, unwavering self-respect. Welcome to True Stoic Mindset. This video isn't about quick tips or revenge tactics. It's about mastering the Stoic mindset, a way of thinking that turns disrespect into an opportunity to grow stronger, calmer, and more in control than ever before. Today, I'll show you 5 Stoic moves, each one designed to instantly stop disrespect. No shouting. No begging. No emotional breakdowns. And here's the truth. Most people can't even handle move number 1. But if you stick with me, by the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to draw the line with absolute clarity, without losing your peace or your dignity. These are the same principles that ancient Stoics like Marcus Aurelius and Epictetus lived by, and they're more powerful today than ever. Because here's the Stoic truth. Respect begins with self-respect. Let's begin. Move number 1. Hold your head high. Here's something most people will never admit. Those who disrespect you aren't actually trying to insult you. They're trying to make you doubt yourself. Because the moment you shrink, the moment you lower your eyes, the moment you start questioning your worth, they've already won. But there's one Stoic move that makes every insult powerless. Holding your head high. When you hold your head high, literally and mentally, you're sending a silent message. I know exactly who I am. And nothing you say or do can change that. This move is simple. But don't let that fool you. People who thrive on disrespect hate seeing confidence. They rely on the idea that their words can control you. They want you to react, to explain, to feel ashamed. But when you simply stand tall, shoulders back, chin slightly lifted, and calmly look ahead, they lose that power instantly. I've been there. I remember being around someone who just couldn't resist making those little cutting remarks. Always with a smirk. Always pretending it was just a joke. And honestly, I used to let it get to me. I would laugh it off or try to defend myself. But one day, I was done. I walked into the room differently, shoulders back, head high. Every time they threw one of their little insults, I simply smiled, looked them in the eye, and moved on. No reaction. No defense. Just calm, silent self-respect. And something strange happened. They backed off. It was like they suddenly realized their words couldn't reach me anymore. That I was operating on an entirely different level, untouchable. Here's the Stoic truth. Confidence is unsettling to those who disrespect others. It shatters their illusion of power. But this isn't about them. It's about you. Holding your head high is an act of mental posture. It's a daily reminder that your worth isn't up for debate. That you are the main character of your own life, walking with quiet dignity. The more you practice this, the less their words will even register. You'll be too busy living in your own lane, too secure to be bothered by their noise. Let me challenge you. The next time someone disrespects you, whether through words, gestures, or passive aggression, take a deep breath, pull your shoulders back, and hold your head high. Walk as if you already own everything you need within you, because you do. This simple, powerful act of self-respect is the first Stoic move that instantly stops disrespect. Move number 2. Embrace silence as your answer. Here's a harsh truth most people don't want to hear. Silence is terrifying. Not for you, but for them. People who disrespect you aren't seeking truth or fairness. They're seeking reaction. They want you to explain. They want you to defend yourself. They want you to get emotional, to stumble over your words, to lose your cool. But here's the Stoic move that turns everything upside down. Embrace silence as your answer. When someone disrespects you, whether it's a passive-aggressive remark, a direct insult, or a subtle dig, the strongest response is no response at all. No words. No defense. No facial expression. Just calm, grounded silence. And trust me, it works. I remember dealing with someone who loved making those sly little jokes. Insults disguised as humor, designed to get under my skin. Normally, I would have tried to explain myself or fire back with something clever. But this time, I just stayed silent. I looked at them, steady, unbothered, and said nothing. I let their words hang in the air untouched. The result? They got uncomfortable. They stumbled. They mumbled something and quickly moved on. That was the last time they ever tried pulling that trick with me. Here's why this works so well. People who disrespect others expect resistance. They need it to feed their ego and validate their actions. But when you give them nothing, when you refuse to engage, you starve them of the very fuel they crave. And beyond that, silence protects you. Silence keeps you in control. It blocks the chaos they're trying to unleash in your mind. It tells them, and yourself, that your peace is not up for grabs. This is the Stoic way. To master your reactions, not to suppress your emotions, but to choose your battles wisely. Silence isn't weakness. It's a declaration. I value my peace more than your opinion. I'll be honest, this isn't easy at first. We've been conditioned to believe we must defend ourselves at all costs. But every time you choose silence over reaction, you reclaim a little more of your power. You stop playing their game. You stop giving them access to your inner world. Let me challenge you right now. The next time someone disrespects you, just pause. Take a deep breath. Look them in the eye, and say nothing. Let your silence speak for itself. And watch how uncomfortable they get. While you walk away stronger, calmer, and completely untouchable. Move number 3, the silent stare. Let me introduce you to one of the most unsettling weapons in the Stoic toolkit. The silent stare. Now you might think, really? Just staring? How is that supposed to work? But trust me, few things are as disarming as a calm, steady gaze that refuses to flinch. Here's why. People who disrespect others are always looking for a reaction. They want you to stammer. They want you to get flustered. They want to drag you into their drama. But when you simply look at them, no words, no expression, just calm, steady eye contact. You flip the power dynamic instantly. Suddenly, they're no longer in control. They're forced to sit in the discomfort of their own behavior. I've seen this work like magic. There was a time during a group meeting when one person kept interrupting me, talking over me like I wasn't even there. At first, I tried being polite, waiting for my turn, even lightly interjecting. Nothing worked. So I tried something different. I leaned back, crossed my arms, and simply stared at him. No blinking. No emotion. Just steady, unbothered eye contact, for 5 full seconds. The room went silent. He stumbled over his words. He looked around nervously. And after that moment, he didn't interrupt me again. Here's what happened beneath the surface. By holding the silent stare, I wasn't just challenging him, I was challenging his self-image. Without saying a word, I made him face his own behavior. And the truth is, most people don't like what they see when they're forced to look inward. That's why this technique works so well. It's not about aggression. It's not about intimidation. It's about holding your ground, mentally and emotionally, without uttering a single word. And there's a hidden benefit here too. Every time you practice the silent stare, you strengthen your own sense of self-worth. You remind yourself that you don't owe anyone your words, your reactions, or your emotional energy. You become the kind of person who is simply unshakable. Here's my challenge for you. The next time someone crosses the line, whether in a meeting, a social setting, or even at home, don't explain. Don't argue. Just look at them. Calm. Steady. Unmoved. Let your eyes deliver the message. I will not dance to your tune. This technique doesn't just stop disrespect, it transforms the way you carry yourself forever. And speaking of self-transformation, there's one more move that feels even more liberating, though most people resist it because it feels too bold. It's time we talk about stopping the habit of explaining yourself, a move that will change everything. Let's dive in. Move number 4. Stop explaining your choices. Here's a truth that might sting a little. You don't owe anyone an explanation for how you live your life. But most people struggle with this. Why? Because we're conditioned to explain ourselves, to justify every choice, to seek approval from others, especially when they question us. But here's the Stoic move that breaks this toxic cycle. Stop explaining your choices. When someone asks, "Why did you do that? Why didn't you go? Why would you make that decision?" You don't have to explain. Here's why. People who question your choices aren't always curious. Most of the time, they're seeking control. They're looking for cracks in your confidence, ways to make you doubt yourself. They're uncomfortable with your independence. So they pressure you to explain, hoping to pull you back into their comfort zone. But when you simply answer with calm certainty, "Because I wanted to," or "That's what felt right for me," you're sending a clear message. My life is not up for debate. I remember this lesson hitting me hard. There was a time when I made a risky career decision, leaving a stable job to pursue something more meaningful. The questions started rolling in. Why would you leave such a good job? What about your future? How are you going to make it work? At first, I explained. I laid out my plans, my reasoning, my goals. But no matter how detailed my answers were, it was never enough. They kept questioning, doubting, and second-guessing me. Then one day, I had enough. Someone asked again, "Why would you risk everything for this?" And I simply said, "Because I chose to." Silence followed. They didn't know what to say. Because I had taken away their power to question me. And you know what happened? They stopped asking. Here's the deep Stoic truth. The only approval you need is your own. When you stop explaining yourself, you reclaim your autonomy. You free yourself from the exhausting cycle of defending every decision. You begin to live life on your terms, not on borrowed opinions. Let me challenge you. The next time someone questions your choices, resist the urge to explain. Just smile. Give a simple answer. And move on. You'll feel an incredible sense of freedom and inner peace. Because in the end, your choices are valid, not because others approve of them, but because you made them. Now, while this move gives you freedom from judgment, there's still one final, powerful Stoic move that's even more life-changing. It's not about words, reactions, or confidence. It's about learning when to simply walk away. Let's explore the art of keeping your distance, the ultimate act of self-respect. Move number 5, keep your distance. Let's be brutally honest here. Not everyone deserves a front-row seat in your life. And sometimes, the most powerful Stoic move isn't to look. It isn't silence. It isn't confidence. It's simply this. Keep your distance. I know, this can sound harsh. We're taught to be forgiving, to be loyal, to give people second chances. But here's the hard truth. Some people are just not good for you. And allowing them to stay close isn't kindness, it's self-sabotage. Keeping your distance doesn't mean you hate them. It doesn't mean you wish them harm. It simply means you respect yourself enough to protect your peace. Imagine your life as a circle. Inside that circle, your energy, your focus, your time. Now ask yourself, who really deserves space inside that circle? People who uplift you? Absolutely. People who drain you, disrespect you, or constantly cross your boundaries? No. Creating distance is not about being cold or rude. It's about reclaiming your mental clarity. Here's what happens when you allow toxic people to stay close. You start walking on eggshells. You feel drained, anxious, and frustrated. You lose sight of your goals and your inner calm. But the moment you begin to step back, not dramatically, not angrily, just quietly and firmly, everything changes. You start breathing easier. You regain perspective. You realize how much their presence was weighing you down. I've been there. I once had a long-time friend who always had a subtle way of cutting me down. Every decision I made? Mocked. Every success I achieved? Undermined. Every conversation? Laced with sarcasm. At first, I excused it. That's just how they are, I told myself. But over time, the weight became unbearable. One day, I made a quiet decision. No confrontation. No big speech. I simply stopped showing up as often. I created space, emotionally and physically. And the result? Relief. Clarity. Freedom. That space allowed me to realize something crucial. I was not obligated to keep anyone in my life who consistently disrespected me. Here's the deeper Stoic wisdom. Protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's essential. You're not here to be someone's emotional punching bag. You don't have to carry their insecurities. Keeping your distance is an act of radical self-respect. And it's also an invitation for better relationships to enter your life. The more you distance yourself from those who drain you, the more space you create for people who uplift and respect you. Let me challenge you right now. Think of the people who constantly cross your boundaries, who make you feel small, anxious, or disrespected. Now ask yourself, do they really deserve this much access to me? And if the answer is no, give yourself permission to step back. Because sometimes, the strongest boundary isn't a word or a stare. It's silence. It's space. It's absence. Now, after learning all 5 Stoic moves, it's time to tie everything together. Let's conclude with one final, powerful Stoic message. The ultimate reminder that respect always starts with you. Let's take a step back and reflect. Today, you've learned 5 Stoic moves that instantly stop disrespect. Without shouting. Without drama. Without losing your inner peace. Hold your head high, because your self-worth is non-negotiable. Embrace silence, because not every insult deserves your energy. Master the silent stare, because your presence speaks louder than words. Stop explaining yourself, because your life isn't up for debate. Keep your distance, because your peace is priceless. Each of these moves is simple, but together, they form a powerful shield. A way of life that protects your dignity, your calm, and your freedom. Here's the Stoic truth I want you to carry with you. Respect doesn't begin with others. It begins with you. When you stand firm in your values, When you guard your peace, when you no longer chase validation, you attract people who naturally respect you. And those who don't, they simply fall away. This isn't just about handling disrespect. It's about living as a person who is untouchable. Not because you fight harder, but because you refuse to be pulled into the chaos of others. Remember this. You always have a choice. To protect your peace. To honor your worth. To live on your own terms. Respect yourself first. And everything else will follow. Thank you for watching. If this video spoke to you, follow true Stoic mindset to grow stronger every single day. Here's a question for you. What's the hardest part for you when dealing with disrespect? Share your story in the comments. How did you handle it? And which Stoic move from today resonated with you the most? Also, let me know. What Stoic topic would you like True Stoic Mindset to explore next? Like, share, and don't forget to tap the bell, so you won't miss the next video that helps you master your Stoic mindset. Stay strong, stay calm, and always remember, your peace is your power.